Hello mathematicians, and welcome to day 5 of triangles, and today we're going to be talking about proportions. So again, make sure you have this worksheet in front of you. Now, what are proportions? So proportions are kind of like a change or the way we measure two things, and maybe we change in size or quantity. So the best example I can give you is when you're cropping a photo. So let's jump over here. I have this lovely photo of a couple of learners during our PE day. Now, if I crop this photo, you can do this on your phone too. These numbers down here are all proportions because they are comparing the length to the width of the photo. So if I put it 3:2, it keeps the shape. Original, it keeps the shape. And freeform has no proportion because I can change how the width and the length are related. So go ahead and cancel that photo because I like that photo. So this is what proportions are. It's very similar to the photo. It's basically comparing one size to another, but they have the same rate. Now in math, there's different ways to figure out these proportions. The first method is finding a common scale, we'll say, okay? Oops. So for example, right here I have two proportions, and somehow I went from 8 to 16, and I'm trying to see what the scale factor is so that if I have something that is 10, what is it going to scale up to? So I see that I went from 8 to 16, so for sure 10 is going to be, the n is going to go bigger than 10. And when we're looking at scale factors, we're going to be looking at multiples. So I'll put right here, multiples. Or put multiplication. So we are never going to find proportions by adding. So if you were to say 8 plus 8 is equal to 16, that is false. We are only going to be dealing with multiplication or dividing. So right here I can see that we went 8 times 2 and we got 16. So what I do to the bottom, I also have to do to the top. Because for it to be proportional, remember, we have to change our two factors at the same rate. So I multiplied by 2 down there, then I have to multiply by 2 at the top, and I get that n is equal to 10 times 2. So this should be equal to, let me write at the bottom, this should be equal to 20. And that is my answer. So that's method 1, so for sure there's a method 2, right? So let's look at this one. Method 2. Now I'm not going to lie, method 1 is the best one because it's the easiest and it makes the most sense. But sometimes we're going to have proportions that unfortunately don't make sense. So let's look at this one. We went 5 to 3. Okay, so we scaled down, but did we scale down by a factor? Did we half it? Did we 1/3 it? Unfortunately, I have no idea how we went from 5 to 3 because 3 and 5 are not multiples of each other. So I'm not going to be able to find a pretty scale number to go from x to 7 or 7 to x, either way. So this is where method 2 comes by, and I like to call this the butterfly method or the x method. So what you do is that you're going to multiply these two circles. So the first circle, actually different colors. The first one's going to be 7 times 3. You're going to set them equal to each other, and then you're going to multiply the other circle or the other leg of the wing or the other leg of the x. So this is 5 times x, and this is the red section. So I'm going to simplify this. 7 times 3 is 21. This is 5 times x is just 5x. And from here, I'm just trying to solve for x. I see that 5 and x are multiplying, so to get rid of it, I have to divide. This becomes a giant 1. And I get that x is equal to 21 over 5. Yikes, that is definitely not a pretty scale number, but it is our answer nonetheless. So sometimes we are going to get some fractions. Let's go ahead and do another one that's a little bit more tough because this should be review. So I'm going to do number 6. So as you can see, number 6 has a whole expression in one of the denominators. So hopefully this should hint at us that we're going to be using the second method, because I don't know how the heck I'm going to get from 5 to b plus 5 without using some kind of scale factor, okay? So I'm going to use the second method, which is the butterfly. So I'm going to multiply these two and multiply these two. So my blue side is 7 times 5. We do an equal sign. And then my red side is going to be 10 times all of this. Notice I'm putting it in parentheses because I'm going to multiply 10 by that whole thing at the bottom. So now we simplify. 7 times 5 is 35. And over here, I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to do 10 times b and 10 times 5. Everybody gets 11. 10 times b is 10b because I don't know what b is. And 10 times 5 is 50. So now I just have to solve for b. So I have 10 and 50. I'm going to do reverse PEMDAS, or hopefully you guys have heard my vault analogy. And if you haven't heard it, I basically say pretend B is a vault that you're trying to steal and get by itself. Would you take out the security guard in front of him first, or the security guard in front of the bank first? The correct answer is in front of the bank. So I have plus 50. To get rid of it, I have to do minus 50. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. Just a side note, I know for a lot of you guys, it helps to make your little line like this. You could do that if that helps. So I have 35 minus 50 on one side. That gives me negative 15 equals 10b because it's left over. And then my 50s cancel out because 50 minus 50 is a 0. Last step, I have to get rid of my 10. It is multiplying with b. So to do the opposite, I have to divide by 10 because I want to get b by itself. And what I do to one side, I do to the other side. So over here I get negative 15 divided by 10 equals 2. 10 divided by 10, or any number divided by itself, is a 1. So I'm going to make a giant 1 right here. This is equal to b. But hold up, we're not done because we can simplify our fraction right here. If we notice, negative 15 over 10 is equal to 5 times 3 and 5 times 2. And look, we have another giant 1. So my final answer is b is equal to negative 3 over 2. Don't forget this negative sign right here, you guys. And that is my answer. So I'll try these out because they're going to come into a huge part of our similarity target, which is going to be the next video. See ya later.